I saw this man who was sitting right outside of the mall. There was a place where you could give him money, right? Something about me told me like turn around and like just see how his condition is like. I decided to turn around, just sit down and have a conversation with this dude. I decided to just ask him like, why are you sitting down here? Why are you asking for money? Like, do you mind if I talk to you? This man came here from Afghanistan to find a better life, right? He has a heart condition problem recently and then he couldn't work anymore. At that moment, I told him like, then why not try to apply some jobs, like other jobs where like you can do online, or like there's so many different jobs, right? And he was just like, I don't really know. Knowing what I go through in life as well, I was like, this can't be just the practical reasons as to why he's not going for a job. There must be like something going on. So I asked him like, then what are your kids doing home? Like, do you have a wife? Like, is she there? Then this is where he started like choking up a little bit, and he just went up to me and said, she left me for another man. This guy has 2 kids. His wife left him for another man, and now he's out here at 60 years old. Dude, that's like my dad's age. I just kind of felt like up about my own life, because last 2 weeks we had the anxiety episode. Of all people, this man not deserves, but like he should be the one having an anxiety attack, bro.
Wallahi fam.
Wallahi fam. I swear to God, Chunkz is like the ambassador for Wallahi fam.
Yeah, for all the Wallahi fams.
Specifically that Wallahi fam, that's it. Yeah. Alright guys, welcome to the Hey Happy Show again today. Today I wanted to share like some stories that just been going on, like a lot of things that I've been reflecting on with like life, family, just communication, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
We did the movie episode last week, so when this releases, the movie episode will be out, and then I think everyone will realize like, I don't know, we talked about it just now, like it just doesn't feel like something that we what's the word I'm looking for? Something that we value too much anymore.
Yeah.
Like, I believe we can have like deeper conversations, or like just we like to like reflect and shit, you know, like really just talk about life, and we find it fun. You know, I think a lot of people find that fun, but now we're just in a different space, I feel like.
Yeah. I said this as well. I feel like that episode was more suited for like one of our first episode vibes.
Yeah.
Whereas a bit more like, I don't know, not even chaotic. It's just like we're kind of just chatting shit.
Yeah, chatting shit, and like there was still a little bit of reflection, but I think at that point it was like you were still in the midst of uni, and then I just finished uni, like everything was still fresh, and it was like starting that like international podcast kind of thing, like we were really enjoying that shit.
Yeah.
But then now it's like, okay, like you've got laid off your job, and then diabetes, and like I've been like, you know, going through family relationship things, and it's like it just doesn't suit the mood anymore,
when you put it like that, I guess it does.
Right, like it just doesn't suit our mood right now, you know, like so yeah. As I told you, I wanted to share with you this story,
yes,
like, to everyone as well, this story, right? Something really interesting happened to me yesterday. Yeah, just yesterday. I want to share this story about this quote-unquote homeless man that I talked to.
Right.
And I want to make sure I just tell the story for what it is, and some like learning lessons that I've learned, and also try not to share too much of like what I did, because I want my good deeds to be between me and God, and I don't want to. I'm not a hero or anything. Like I really have a lot of things lacking, as you know, and I don't want to share.
She has a lot of things lacking.
Yeah, a lot of mistakes.
I'm joking.
Yeah, so yesterday I had a full day at home. Like I had a day off, and I usually wake up, go to the gym, and edit some videos, do all these admin stuff. And then during the day I had free time, and I wanted to dry my clothes in a dryer, right? So I decided to go to Malvern, sorry.
Yeah.
Go to Malvern, and then there's a place called Malvern Central. So it's a mall, and I decided to just walk around for a little bit, just to see what people were doing, and like maybe just shop around. Not really shop around, but like try different foods, like try different stores. And I decided to just walk around just to get some air. You know, and there was no dryers around there, so I was like, you know what, like let me just take a walk.
Yeah.
And so I bought a pizza. Do you know Rodzi's pizza? I don't know what.
No,
like it's like
really
I didn't even know like it was halal apparently. So for all you Muslim people out there, it's halal pizza, and there's halal pasta as well. And I bought it was like 1 for 1, so I bought 2. And I decided to walk outside, and then I saw this man who was sitting right outside of the mall, and he was asking for money. Not really asking for money, but like there was a place where you could give him money, right? So I did what charitable thing that I could do, and then I just walked away. But something in my heart told me like, Hamka, you've been going through quite a bit this past few days, and you've been praying to God for like help. And one of the things that you can do to help yourself is to help others. Now this is a fine line, because it doesn't mean like, just because you're going through pain and struggles doesn't mean you can't help another person, right? I think it's more like if you're in pain, let's say from like grief, even with that, you can still help another person who's going through grief. You can help, but maybe not too much. So something about me told me like, turn around and like just see how his condition is like, you know? Because giving money or whatever it is like it's very easy to do.
Yeah.
But just hearing someone out is another thing. So I just decided to turn around, actually like just sit down and have a conversation with this dude. So I sat right beside him, and I was like, "Hi, my name is Hamka. Like, just want to ask, like, how are you? You know, what are you doing today? Today's Sunday. Was it Sunday? I forgot what day it was. Yeah, whatever day it was, it doesn't matter. I decided to have a conversation with this guy, and I first asked his name, right? I asked his name. What's his name? My name's Abdul. The second he said Abdul, I was like, "Oh, you Muslim, brother?" It's like, "Oh yeah, I'm Muslim as well." And then I'm like, "Assalamu alaikum, brother." And then we just like instantly connect from that space. And then I decided to just ask him like, why are you sitting down here? Why are you asking for money? Like, do you mind if I talk to you? And thankfully he was comfortable enough to share his story. So this man came here from Afghanistan to find a better life, right? I'm not sure what happened exactly. Like, he came here 11 years ago, and he had to come here for work and start a life with his family. So he had a wife, and they have 2 kids. One is 11 years old, and one is 9. So I was kind of confused, like, when he was telling me the story, like, then why are you here? You know, because if you have kids at home, then why are you here? And he's not homeless. And the more he talked, he was like, he has a heart condition problem recently, and then he couldn't work anymore, and he doesn't know much about technology as well. So it's that generation of like, you come here to do labor kind of work, and then that's all you know. And then once you have like a heart problem or like a physical issue that you can't work anymore, they can't like find another job, you know, like it's hard, because that's all they know, right?
Yeah.
And at that moment I told him like, then why not just try to apply some jobs, like other jobs where like you can do online, or like there's so many different jobs, right? So I'm like asking him in the realistic point of view, and he was just like, I don't really know. And knowing what I go through in life as well, I was like, this can't be just the practical reasons as to why he's not going for a job. There must be like something going on. So I asked him like, then what are your kids doing home? Like, do you have a wife? Like, is she there? And then this way he started like choking up a little bit, and he just went up to me and said, my wife is a little bit unstable, like mentally, and she left me for another man, and she's already like living with that man instead. And I feel like it's kind of a big perspective, and because I'm going through like I hate mentioning it, but like just relationship things.
Yeah.
And to hear it from that perspective of like, this guy has 2 kids, his wife left him for another man, and now he's out here at 60 years old. At 60 years old, these things are happening to him, man. And then when he mentioned that, when I asked him that question, right, like, how old are you? 60 years old. And I'm talking to this man.
Yeah.
Instantly my brain just went, dude, that's like my dad's age. And just, I didn't even understand how to process it, or like I just kind of felt like fucked up about my own life, because here I am having like, last 2 weeks we had the anxiety episode.
Yeah.
of all people, this man not deserves, but like he should be the one having an anxiety attack, bro. And it was just such a big perspective because I feel like, look, we're young, right? When we go through heartbreaks or we go through pain, we feel like that's all we know, and like we're really in the turmoil of life. But something about just hearing his story and like how this man was probably given up on life, and that's why he's like there that day and just not able to, you know, do anything because he's just sitting there on like a random day, just sitting down there like thinking, what am I going to do with life, you know? Yeah, there's a lot to extrapolate within this whole thing. Maybe we can go like one thing at a time. I feel like let's talk about the relationship aspect first, because bro, this man came here to work, like do labor stuff, and he has kids to support, and his wife left him for a different man probably. I mean, look, I don't know his full background. Maybe he really has gone lazy or whatever, but whatever it is, it's just the fact that he lost his wife to another man and now he's taking care of 2 kids and he's sitting out there. It's just, yeah.
Yeah, I don't really have. I have a lot of questions, but I feel like
dude, go ahead.
But so his kids were born here, right?
Should be, I think.
They go to school.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
Damn, man. I mean, I think a lot of the thoughts coming in my head are more just like to help with like what kind of job this person could apply for.
Yeah.
But 100%. It's also like, yeah, man. I feel like let's say by chance I was there with you, I would have loved to like, I don't know, pull up fucking Seek or some shit and just go through like, you know. So does this man have a car?
I don't know. I didn't get to ask him that question.
I mean, did he say like how serious his condition was?
Yeah, it was like one of it was a heart problem thing, and then the other one was like his leg like he couldn't like stay standing.
He couldn't stay standing too long.
Yeah.
So I think it would have been maybe if he's like fine driving. There's a lot of jobs you can do with driving.
Yeah, driving. Yeah.
Driving would be a big outlet for that.
Yeah. I think you've brought a very good point because it's a lot about balance, right? Because I did like talk to him a little bit about like career and stuff, just to, like it's what we just talked about off the podcast was it's better to be sad, depressed, having anxiety, whatever it is, and still work rather than having all those things and not work. Because what else can you do, right? There's no benefit for you to be depressed and everything and do nothing about it. Because one day you are going to get out of that space. Like there'll be, or even moments, and then you're going to look back and be like, I didn't do anything. So like, even now where like I have my moments, right? At least I can look back and be like, at least I still did work. Like I didn't waste my time. I think the biggest problem with life is like waste. You will always look back and regret waste. But at the same time, like I said, this man is coming from like Afghanistan, and these things where like you're already hoping shit will like get better in Australia, right? Like same as international student, we come here like expecting a better life and everything. Yeah. And then maybe he had all the highs and everything, right? But then now everything goes down at 60 years old. It's a lot to take in. And then now I can't even imagine like the pain that he's going through in terms of like you have health issues and then now your wife is with another man and you have 2 kids. Just that alone, I feel like, how do you... And I'm a 26-year-old kid. Like, how do I motivate this person? Or like, how do I
how do you even say anything?
Because this guy's like the same age as my dad.
Yeah.
And all I can do right there is like, I just sat down with him, and after knowing all these things, I just prayed with him. I just like, in Islam is our opening surah, our opening verse, the Al-Fatiha. It's just like, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen Ar-Rahmanir Rahim. I'm not going to say the whole thing, but I just prayed beside him because like, bro, there's no other way for me to like save this man or like just have a conversation with him at most is the best thing that I can do for him.
Yeah.
You know?
Damn, man. That makes me sad.
Yeah, because I was just beside him, like, the more he was telling about his story, right? I'm like, bro, what the fuck am I even? Why am I even having anxiety or like crying? Like, it's weird, right? Because we just talked about this on the worry episode, and like how learning about people's story makes you less anxious because you know people are going through worse.
Yeah.
But then there's also something about listening to someone in real life that you're talking to, and you know they're going through the worst shit and like 1,000 times worse than you. But right after that conversation, I think just being humans, right? I still felt a little bit of anxiety and like overthinking towards my own problems. And like it's so hard to like fully adapt yourself in like someone's shoes and be like, my life is good. Like it's so hard to get out of that. So I can only assume from what he's facing is like, this kid did help me out today, but my life is still shit, you know? I have 2 amazing kids, but to get moving is like a...
Yeah, man.
And especially for like men's mental health at that age as well. Like, I don't know where he's going to get support from, you know?
Oh, yeah, I didn't even think about that.
See, like, there's a lot of things that I'm going to extrapolate this from, and then the next part, I think I'm going to go to its family, but...
That's a tough... You know, see, there's also like... you always think that life will get better, right? Like that's a big thing. That's what like stories and fantasies tell us, and that's what like, you know, about like everlasting love and all that stuff. So it's like it's a bit like heart-wrenching to hear that at that age. That might be like the lowest of the low in his life, you know. I mean, you know, I'm sure if he came here from a place that wasn't great, sure that was bad as well. But to then, yeah, I don't know, man. To first leave to look for something better, and then to be in the place where the better was supposed to be, and it being worse, is, yeah, I don't know. I just feel like. Yeah, I would have loved to help him out, like, I don't know. I'd want to help him get, like, a job or something, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know, that's just, like, that's the feeling that, you know, you evoke.
Yeah.
That sort of evokes. But it's also hard because everyone lives in their own life, right? So you can't always just go around... Like you said, listening is hard. If you went around listening to everyone, you'd want to help everyone. So yeah, I don't know, man. I just that's a tough situation. That's a
right. You brought 2 interesting points. The first one that you said, you thought like this would be the happily ever after or whatever it is, and maybe it's a little bit of the media, social media, maybe a bit of like movies. How we're always, in our generation at least, we're used to like things having like a good ending. But the thing is, even with a good ending, right? Like let's say you've bought your house, you have kids, you have a wife and everything, like things will still go south.
Yeah.
But I think we're just too programmed to be like having this like idea that it's always going to be like there's an end of like happiness, you know? And then this goes back to that movie episode a little bit, where I told you, like, if you want true love, you'll need true pain. Because it comes hand in hand, right? If you want the big body, you'll have to go through the insane amount of pain, right? If you want to be the best salesman, if you want to be the one with the GPA 4.0, you have to go through many nights of insane study, insane hard nights and like pain. Like you have to go through that, you know? And it's definitely a reflection of like, even if I were to get a good woman, a good house and everything, the one thing that we can't stop is like just working ourselves, because things are gonna go down to shit. Like for this man, right? Like it's really gonna go down to shit. There's no such thing as like a place where it's like, oh, we're married, or like, oh, I got a house, like, and then this is it. Like it's always going to continue, you know? And it was a reflection point of me as well to be like, even the day when that comes, never be like too happy or never be too content, because things are still gonna go south. There's gonna be problems, and that's the beauty of life. Like it has to have its up and downs to move with life.
Yeah.
And I think Andrew Tate brought this very good point of like, if you want an exceptional life, it has to be both exceptional in the good and exceptional in the bad. If you want to have like a decent, like mundane life, then it's gonna come with like a bit of happiness, a little bit of low. But just know that that's the life you asked for. But if you're asking for like a lot of, I feel like more girls than guys, they're looking for like, oh, I just want true happiness. I just want to be happy with this one man, right? Then it's gonna come with like a lot of pain as well. 100%. Because if you really want happiness, then there will come a time where real sadness will come.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, like the opposite will always come together.
I think personally, when you look at it through like life as a whole, right? I don't think happiness and contentness is somewhere that, you know, it can be like a goal of yours, but again, we've said this many times before, you can't really strive for it.
It's not really like a happiness and then that's it.
Yeah, there's
it's like a moment.
Yeah.
You know?
I think just constantly working towards the best that you can be, that the people around you can be. I think that's the way to go about it, right? But like, and then I'm thinking in this man's case, that must be so incredibly hard, because it's just shit everywhere, right? So, I mean, I feel like it wouldn't really be worth anything coming from someone like me, but like to say not to give up would be something that I'd want to say, but it's not something that I'm sure if I even have the right to say.
Yeah, I get you, because the thing is, when we look at life, I'm not like, again, I'm going to keep saying this to people, is that I'm not trying to preach for anyone to believe in whatever they want to believe. But if you believe that we are only humans and we can only help each other, then I get where you're coming from. Like, you feel like you don't have the right to say these kind of things. But when God is my number one leader and God is my main arbiter, right? Then the only thing I said to him, like, don't ever, I actually said this to him, like, can I just tell you one thing, man to man? Like, this is the only moment where I'm going to talk to you like man to man and not as a younger person or whatever it is. Don't fucking give up, because Allah is always watching you. I'm not your leader. I'm not someone who's helping you. But when I say don't give up, it means like that guy, like he's always looking out for the both of us, and he doesn't want you to give up. He doesn't want me to give up. So for the sake of him, for the sake of Allah, keep working, because he will give the help when you put the effort. He will not give you like I said, when you pray for Allah, give me strength. He's not gonna just give you strength and muscles. He's gonna give you like, one day maybe you wake up and like at 8 a.m. randomly, and he's like, should I go work out? That is Allah giving you the thing that you prayed for already. So now you have to put the effort to actually go to the gym. Then that's the thing that you prayed for.
That's... So did you actually say that to him?
Yeah.
Oh.
That was the only moment where I told him, like, this is the only moment, right?
Yeah.
Excuse my language, but don't fucking give up and keep looking for the next thing.
That's nice.
Because I've been there, right? Like, you've also already seen me in that self-pity mode.
Yeah.
And I can only say those words, but you have to internalize it, right? And it's the same for me. Like, a lot of people have been like listening to me and helping me out, but only until I internalized the fact that when things got so out of control, my little brother told me this actually. Like, he blew my mind when he said this. We were talking about all these things that I'm going through, and he just said to me, my 21-year-old younger brother, right? He just said to me on call while he was playing games, right? He was playing his PS5 and just like, Hamka, there's just this one thing that I learned, is that in any believer's life, I believe that there'll come a time where things get so hard and so painful that the only thing you can do is pray to God. I'm just looking at him while he's looking at me. I'm like, okay, okay, brother.
Yeah,
I hear you.
You're dropping some knowledge,
Yeah.
right? Damn.
And at
He
that
was
moment,
locked in as well. You know?
right, he's locked in while he's
Shit.
playing FIFA, and I'm like, okay, and it was scary yet comforting to know that, because that means you really have to hit the lowest, and man, when you hit the lowest of your lows, it's like, it's painful, bro. Like it really sucks. You really want something to like just ease your pain, right? You want like a hug, you want like alcohol, you want a vice or like something to just let you out. But when you look at it in the perspective of like, at this moment, this is what exactly it means that God is testing you, and this is how he's showing his love. It's sort of like when your dad tells you like, just ride the bike, like don't be scared when you first ride your bike. And he's kind of scared as well, like if you fall down or hurt yourself or whatever, but you have to let them go through, like you have to let them fall, you know. Only when you fall, then you really like learn something, and then when you look back, you'll be like, oh, thank God my dad let me fall, you know. And not let me like just ride it on a tricycle. And then when you grow up at 18 and then like, do you know how to ride a bike? No, I only know how to ride a tricycle, you know. Like you have to go through these pains, and yeah, man. Yeah, then now let's extrapolate this thing towards the family side of things, which I think is very interesting. Is that, yeah, we said it just now, this man is 60 years old, right? And he's like basically the same age as my dad. And he's going through like one of his worst moments and everything. And I was like reflecting on what it felt like to raise us as kids, especially for like our parents, because there's a lot of communications where like at that moment you're probably heated with your dad. I'm sure you've had like heated arguments with your dad, your mom, or whatever it is, but only when you look back then you realize like, oh man, like that was probably really, really hard of them to like go through this. And the story that I would like to share was something I just talked to my dad about last night as well. And it was when I was going into national service, and they had like a form on the first day where like you have to declare whether you were sick, had depression, like a lot of health stuff. And at that point I didn't know anything, right? So I just put like, depression? Yeah, I had depression, like it's fine. Little did I realize after that, then they sent me to like the doctor, and then they were asking me deeper questions. And then because I was in the police, I was joining the police force, right? They were like, okay, then this guy's not allowed to have a gun because, you know, like depression, then you might kill yourself, all this kind of thing. And that means if you can't hold a weapon, that means you won't be able to get more money, because when you can't patrol, right? Because you can only do admin work, and then admin work is less money than like patrolling.
Patrol work. Oh wow.
And you're already earning at that point, if you do admin work, at most you're gonna get like $800 a month. And I'm like, nah. But that went through, and then the part that not fucked me up, but like, I guess it's now that I look at it, they send a letter to your parents without you knowing that they're going to tell you like your son is depressed or whatever this kind of thing is. And when that letter got sent to my parents and then they opened it without me knowing, bro, I was so fucking pissed. So fucking pissed. I was like, why do you open it? And then me and my dad started like having, not really heated, but like things were getting a little bit like, we were raising our voice a little bit.
Yeah.
And talked about my depression, and then also talked about like religion as to like what I believe in and this kind of things. And at that point I told my dad like I didn't believe in any religion, and I'm stopping right now. And he just walked out. Like you don't believe in anything? Like he just walked out. Like he almost slammed the door, but like he just walked out, and like he didn't come home that night or something like that. And
damn,
it was weird. It was very weird. And just last night I got to like actually talk to him about like what his perspective was, because at that moment, bro, as an 18, 19-year-old, 21, 22, sorry, 21, 22 years old, I'm just there like, bro, can you just calm down? Like looking at your dad, like you're always so angry, like you're always so mean. I'm depressed here. I'm the one depressed. So why the fuck are you like this to me, you know? And then now it's been like 4 years, 4 years. Now you're looking back, you're just like, he had not every right to get angry, but it made sense because all these years you thought your son was okay. All these years you thought your son was religious and like following whatever that you have taught him. And then now he's like, he's not. You know, like that messed up his mind because like, not only is he like worried about my beliefs, he's also like, did I do something wrong as a father? You know, like, did I raise him? Like, how could I have not known any of this while he's living under my roof? You know? Yeah.
Yeah, damn.
It's weird, right? Because like, I think I am definitely blessed from God to have this wisdom of like wanting to understand perspective. In that moment, I didn't give a shit because I only cared about myself. But now that it's been like a few years, I'm like, how did my dad feel at that situation? How did my mom feel? And then I think it'd be good for everyone to like just look back at those situations or like whatever situations that you've had with your family, or maybe you can even think about one now, right? That both of you were arguing, but then now you look back, you're like, I know why they were so angry. Or like, I know why they did that. Like, they actually like cared about me. Instead of looking at it as just like, just my mom getting angry or my dad getting angry, you know?
Yeah. I think everyone goes through that at one point anyways. You have like, because I know I definitely have, you know, you have these big fights, and I think, yeah, some of them get like more serious than others, because even as a child, you hold in a lot of stuff, right? And when you don't know a whole lot about like the world, yourself, whatever, right? And you're a bit more selfish. You being raised the way that I'd say you or me are, right? Where we don't really have a lot of outlets for taking stuff off our chest. I think there's a lot of things that we hold in as children, especially, and then they just explode when you become a bit older. And so there were definitely times where I think there was, I'd say like the biggest one was when I lashed out at my mum for just not like listening to me, and she was just like, she kept getting pissed about stuff that in my opinion at the time I was just like, why, what does this even matter, right? And so because that had been going for like a long time, like I lashed out because of it, right? And I was like, Mum, why? You know? And then I raised my voice, she raised her voice, she told me to get out, and I was like, whatever, man, fuck this. So I left. My dad didn't say a word. He was just sitting there, didn't say a word. But yeah, my mum got really, really angry and told me to get out. And then I just like went to my room, I closed the door. I don't know, cried for a fair bit. But yeah, we didn't make up before we went to bed. And then next morning, Dad came, he had a chat with me. And I think the realization for me was like much sooner, because even my dad has learned a lot over the years, right? I think as a parent, he's grown as a parent, and I can see that as well. He looks for his children's perspective a lot more now. The same way that we look for our parents' perspective now, right? And so he was like, I don't think that you're entirely wrong. But I don't think your mum was entirely wrong as well. I think what you needed to do was you needed to handle it more delicately, more in a way that allowed both you and your mum to talk in a more safe manner, right? Not something that ended up in you lashing out on her and her just screaming at you. And so I had that conversation with Dad, and he was like, just go apologize, just tell her you love her, and I'm sure it'll sort itself out. And that's what I did. I went, I said, it was like later that evening when she came back from work, and I, went into the room. I was like, I'm so sorry. what I did was wrong. That was disrespectful. I'm really sorry. And what my dad said was basically what happened. You know, she said she was sorry too. She didn't mean to lash out like that. She just had a lot of pent up stress, and she she was going through her own things, and I was going through my own things, and I gave her my perspective. I was like, sometimes I just don't think that this is what needs to be done, all of that and stuff. And she was like, she reciprocated. It was like the first time that I think I talked to my mum like a
human.
Yeah.
Like an adult, like a proper human adult.
Yeah. It was weird, but it resolved, and that was like 2 years ago, maybe. So, and since then, yeah, it's been good. I haven't really. Yeah, it's nice.
It's interesting for me because hearing you talk about this, like, this exact love, like, not between a mother and son, but the whole process that you talked about is something that you need in a partner. And when the day comes where, like, you and your partner starts to, like, fight like this heavy, right? I think the thing that I'm trying to learn these days is, like, in our generation of dating / getting to know someone, I think a lot of us, like, when these things happen and then we run away from it, or, like, not even run away from it, like, when these things happen, then we feel like, oh, this isn't the one. Do you know what I mean? But you've already learned this from your mom, and this is the love that we know. But it's hard to, like, I guess it is hard to, like, have someone who was kind of a stranger first and then to build this. And it also depends on what they grew up with in their family, like what you grew up with your family. So, yeah. But it definitely is, like, a weird thing with, like, this generation's culture of dating and stuff, you know, like, because all of us are going into that, we want happiness and marriage, but the way we're approaching it is just fun, or, like, more towards fun rather than actually building something. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I get what you mean. But, like, I think part of that you could say is in result to the way the generation is, right?
Yeah, 100%.
But I also think in another part, it's just kids being kids, really.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's still happening within the people in my age group. Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, I think things have gotten a little less, because things have gotten a little less strict about it, right? It's a bit more open. It's a bit more flowy. I think it goes, the age range is higher for, like, to have fun, right?
Yeah.
And but I don't know. I still think that there'll come times where the same people will be like, oh, okay. So.
Yeah. Because I definitely have been, I told you, right, I've been listening to a lot of, like, relationship podcasts and just life, God, all these kind of things. And finding that person isn't a linear thing that I thought it was, where, like, you get to know the person, date, have fun, then get to the serious things, and then you get married. You know, you can go out with this person, start talking, like, a little bit, not like, what do you want? Would you want a marriage? Like, do you want to play around? Like, but you can have a conversation even on the first date and just being like, oh, like, are you looking for a serious thing? Like, where do you see, like, a relationship going? Not us, but, like, where do you see yourself in a relationship in, like, a few years? Like, these things can start now. If you're genuinely looking for, like, a lasting relationship, these things can be asked, like, right now.
Yeah,
that's what I've realized.
I think, you know what else though? I feel like the fantasy for love is really big. And
yeah, the fantasy of, like, it's nice, romantic, like, all the time.
I think people, as much as they want someone, right, they also don't want to have an interview with that someone to see if they're that someone. Do you know
Or
what
just
I'm saying?
having that serious conversation,
no,
you know?
but that's what I'm saying. I'm saying from that perspective of like wanting love. They don't want to like go out and ask someone, "Oh, are you looking for love?" And even having like, I'm not saying that serious conversation isn't a good thing. I
Yeah.
mean, clearly, you know, if two people can have that conversation, move forward, and have a loving relationship, then that's wonderful. But I think for a lot of people, they have this fantasy where they want to go out, they want to meet someone, right? And they want to fall in love with that someone, and then they want to go and ask them if they want to be with them. Like, I think people want to fall in love before they ask to start dating. If you kind of get what I'm saying.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, I think that's like a deep-rooted fantasy in a lot of people, a lot of young people, and I mean, I'm not surprised, and I'm not saying that it's entirely a bad thing either. I mean, people are who they are, right?
Yeah.
And if that's the way you want to find love, then go for it. But I also get where you're coming from in terms of like the way serious.
Yeah. And look, I'm not talking about it from like a perspective where I'm perfect or whatever. It's exactly because I fucked up a lot. Like, it's exactly because of that. Then I start to like reflect and realize a lot of things that I did wrong. And it just got me thinking a lot about like, where do I want a relationship, and like, how do I want a relationship? And things do get confusing, especially in this time where like you what's the word I'm looking for? Like, infatuation, attachment / love. Like, these three things can be very confusing in that moment. You know?
Yeah, again, man, I don't feel like I'm old enough to fucking...
You're fine. But it's like, at least we get to talk about it, and then like down the line when things happen.
I mean,
for
having
you,
a conversation about it isn't going to hurt anyone.
that's the whole point, right? Like, it's just about openly having these conversations. Like, you need to have these conversations, you know?
Yeah, no, I feel you. I get you. But again, yeah, I think from my perspective as well, I kind of just want to go out and I want to see how all of it works, you know? I want to experience all of it. I want to be like, if I do go like head over heels for someone and it works, how does that feel? If I go head over heels for someone and it doesn't work, how does that feel?
Yeah, like, you have to mess it up. But like I said, I feel like if you know in the back of your head, like, you would want a lasting relationship, then you have to ask yourself, what is a lasting relationship?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think, even for myself, now that I've asked myself that question, right? Like, for example, most of us at least, want a lasting relationship where we get married and like all these kind of things. Then the question of like, what is a lasting relationship to me? A healthy, lasting relationship to me? Then to me, it's like someone who gets along well with my family, someone who's driven, someone who's very understanding, someone who can build a life with me, right? And then through these, maybe like just these 4 questions, right? Then look at that person that you're seeing right now. Like, can they be the one? Like, can they work on something?
That is important. You know, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, then again, I think cultural background plays a big part in that as well, right? I mean,
100%. That's the thing, right? Like, let's say if you're dating a I don't know, an Aussie girl over here, right? And maybe down the line you're 25, and then she's like 21, 22, and she is like just having her like fun era where like she's going to clubs, she's not really like doesn't really know where things are going yet, right? But you're already at an age where like you still like to hang out with this person, but as of right now, when you ask that question of like, what is a lasting relationship to her, like, do you feel like she can build stuff with you? And like, if she doesn't have any intentions, then maybe you don't want to go too deep with her right now. Or like, if there is like a clear, this is the thing with like a lot of people with different faith, right? If both of you have different faith and both of you are strong upon it, and you know this cannot work, then maybe don't get too into it while you know these two aren't going to work. You know, if like both of you clearly know, like, I am a strong Islam, maybe this person is a strong like Hindu, Catholic, or whatever it is, and then both of you are strong on your faith, and you know like, this is going to fuck up my family, like, we're going to have like debates and shit, then maybe it's best not to like fall in love. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like these conversations can be had a lot earlier.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Totally. I think what's rushing to my head are examples of like such situations, right?
Yeah.
And like the number one that I remember is of an Indian Pakistani married couple, who one was a strong Muslim and the other one was a strong Hindu. And their parents, obviously coming from that sort of background, parents and family is a big thing, right? Especially involvement in marriage as well as a big thing.
Yeah.
So both their sides absolutely fucking hated it, but they decided to do it anyways, and they moved to America or Canada. I'm not sure which one it was. It was one or the other. And they have kids, and they're teaching their kids both sides, I think, and they're living a happy life, as far as I remember. And I think it also means that you gotta get your priorities like right, you know.
Yeah.
And like for some people, it's okay for them to leave their families.
Yeah, 100%.
and move on, right? Because their priorities are different. Some people just don't have good relationships with their families.
Yeah.
You know, that's also another thing. So that's just like not in the equation even at all. So, yeah, I always go back to this. I always say like everything is fucking situational.
Yeah, 100%,
Everything.
100%.
It's just
Because whatever that you just said is exactly what I mean by like you have to have these conversations. They definitely had that conversation of like, okay, let's move to America.
You're
and,
right.
like,
You're right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
But when two people are like, you know, this can't work, then
especially if you feel because for them, right, they accepted each other's faith and they were like, I'll be mine, you'll be yours, but we'll still love each other, right? If there's people out there that are like, I have my faith, but I can't accept your faith, then that's not going to work, obviously, right?
But they're still like invested in themselves. Like let's just see where it goes. Like that's a lot of like. Yeah, that's a lot of the mistake that I did as well. You know, like let's just see where it goes. And I realized like that's not what God wants you to do as well. Like don't invest in something that you know that's gonna break. Don't invest in something that you know that's gonna fail or whatever. But like at the end of the day, it is confusing. I'll admit that, including for myself. Like it things get very confusing with like lines and like where things are going. And in no way are we like gurus or like experts in this. It's just
absolutely not.
Yeah. Again, it's a lot of me like messing up and like really trying to learn.
I mean, it's fine. We're just having a conversation.
Yeah.
But stuff like this, I think it's important, right? I mean, you got to have those conversations, and especially if it depends what you're looking for. If you want to have a bit of casual fun, then I don't really think it fucking matters. But, you know, if you're someone who really does want love and all that, having that conversation might be worth it. But also, I wouldn't say that there's only... And I'm sure you would too. There's no one solution, right?
Yeah, 100%.
So, if you're looking for love, I'm sure love will find you one day. You just gotta...
Yeah, like you really gotta love yourself. And like what that actually means is like actually putting the work on yourself.
Yeah.
And that's really hard, you know.
It is. I think everyone's walking their own paths in life, and it always comes with your challenges, your obstacles, your walls. So I think bringing this back to that lovely old man that you had a chat with, I think to not give up.
Yeah.
To not give up would be the perfect way.
I think, we can lead that into the final part about relationship. Is like one quality that I've realized like I think everyone should look out for in a partner is someone who makes you not give up. Because this is part of love, and it's also part of your own career, life, and whatever it is. If you find that person that's like, you may not like them all the time. Liking is a very different word. Like you can like your wife and you can dislike your wife at certain moments, all right? But what I've realized with my experiences is like if there's someone who uplifts you and someone who works with you and like brings you to the next stage, stick with that person. But there's this other side where like I know from experience, and a lot of my friends' experience is like they love this person, they like hanging out, they have casual sex or whatever it is, and the chemistry is right, but with that person they just don't grow. And you can't be with someone that doesn't make you grow, because both of you are going to grow. And then if it comes a time where like, what are you doing this? Why are you doing this? Like, why are you only doing this job? Or like, you don't really do anything. If someone is like that with you, even through your lowest, then you just can't be with them. That's the number one thing that I realized. Like, having a cheerleader in your life who really sees the value in you.
That's like, that's a really great way to put it.
Yeah. Because they see, it's not the fact that like in someone's eyes, like for some people out there, some ladies out there that look at us, they'll be like, they have no value, and that's fine. But finding that person who like sees the potential and the value in you, I think that's very, very important.
Yeah. You're right. I mean, I love that analogy though, having be the cheerleader for your partner.
Yeah.
I really like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a fine line as well. There's be like, oh yeah, babe, you can do anything you want. Yeah. No, but like it's when I say cheerleader, there's also like, it's also part of, nah, you can do better.
Yeah, absolutely.
And like, if you're doing something that's like, you're just playing games and they're like, can you stop playing games and actually do this? Then that is part of the growing. It's not like,
Yeah. Reminds me of gymming, with your gym bro.
Yeah.
You can't push that last rep up.
Yeah.
And then he's like, well, easy.
Yeah.
Fucking lift it up.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a two-way street. From referring back to this book that I read, Amy Chan's Breakup Bootcamp, we will go to the light moment first, then we'll relate to this. When you compliment someone, a compliment doesn't complete until that person accepts it.
Yes.
So it's the same thing. Like, for example, if a couple, right, the guy is lazy, or let's say no, the opposite. The guy is going to go to the gym, and then the girl's like, oh, don't go to the gym, and like, just spend more time with me. But the guy who gives that in, that's also a bad guy. Not bad guy. That's also like, it's not a good sign for you, because you have to be disciplined enough to be like, no, this is part of me being the man. I'll come back home. I'll have more time with you afterwards. It has to work both ways, where like, even if it's the other way around, where like, let's say the guy is lazy, and then the girl's like, go to the gym. Can you just do something? And then he's like, yeah, you're so annoying, like, just stop it. Like, then that's just not going to work out.
Yeah.
It has to work both ways. Like, both of you have to lift each other up. But if both of you are just constantly like battling over this dumb shit, then it's just, this is something that I've been learning, because like, I've had a lot of friends who go through those kind of things, and including myself. But when I found this one person where she's like a very strong cheerleader in my life, and she's always supporting me, and I'm like, man, like, this is a quality that no matter whatever that's happened, I feel like just that alone, this woman is just incredible. And I'll admit that.
Nice. Very good.
Before we end it off, I guess to wrap it up, it's like, with communication, we shouldn't assume, and should ask a little bit more of like why and how they feel, because it can feel like at that moment this is how they feel, or this is what they are, like, I thought my dad was just angry at me, or when I first came to Australia and showed my mom my plans, she didn't say a single word, and I'm like, oh, my mom like doesn't care, and like, she just doesn't want to listen to what I'm saying. And then when you start to like really extrapolate and like look back in your life, and I realized like, oh shit, my mom was probably sad, like, my son wants to get out, and like, I have to leave him. I would love for him to go to Australia, but I don't want him to leave me. And that's probably why she kept quiet. And I think we just wrap it up with like, whatever arguments that you're going through, or pains that you go through with like past history with your family, parents, brother, best friends, maybe just once in a while, or like right now, just look back and like, at that moment, how did they actually feel? Like, ask them how they actually feel about that situation, because you can only assume a feeling, but you don't know how they go, like how they actually feel inside.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
I think there's some people also expect others to just assume or just know what to do.
Yeah.
And I'd like to advocate for those that have it a little bit harder in terms of understanding other people. I think just ask.
Yeah.
Just ask.
Yeah. Just ask, and for our own humility, including myself, this is a lesson that I learned. I said this on the anxiety episode as well. Nobody will know how you feel until you tell them.
Yeah.
No one.
Yeah.
As easy as it looks, for example, even if I'm angry, I look angry, but the actual reason as to why I'm angry, no one will know that until you tell them. That's yeah. I'll just leave it off with one example. Something that's not as serious. I always do closes at work, and closes are usually the busiest time at retail. And every manager thought I was pissed at work because I was closing all the time. And they decided to like put me on a mid shift where I don't close. But that's not why I'm angry. Every single person thought that was why I was angry. And I told them that's not the problem. The problem is that every time I'm closing, sometimes I end up alone. And there's no support. Or I'll end up closing with someone who's like a new person. Then I'm the only experienced one. Then it's not fair. It's not about the shift. I love closing because I prefer having my mornings to myself and then work till late night. I have no problems closing. But they didn't know, like, they just assumed that. You know?
Yeah.
And only until I told them, and also to be fair to blame myself, I didn't tell them.
Yeah.
So how would they know?
Yeah. That's true. That they can only assume.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
But
because
then,
everyone around work knew, but I didn't tell the managers. And I was just in my head like complaining, like, why don't they know? Like, we can't assume people know how we feel. We just can't. You know?
And
even
then,
if I know like I'm angry, or even if I know they are angry, I don't know the reason why they're angry. I think that's the most important question. So.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just ask.
Yeah. Just ask, speak up, and yeah, hopefully everyone learns a little bit through this. I think I've learned a lot from that whole situation of just reflecting.
Yeah, wow, what a conversation. I was not expecting that.
Yeah, bro.
That's not what I was expecting.
This is why we have conversations. This is why I love podcasts, because like the goal was just to talk about that guy.
Yeah.
And then, you know, things happen. That's why we have conversations, bro, because you really don't know where it'll
end up.
lead.
Yeah. Fair, man.
Yep. Assalamu alaikum.
Wallahi, fam.